I am inflammation free. I recently had a colonoscopy and the results came in. Can you see that just here? It says the colon, to the extent of the examination, was normal. I have no inflammation. It's amazing. And just to think, just a few weeks ago, I was in a pit of despair thinking I'm sick of being a patient. It feels like my life revolves around going to the hospital, going to get these IVs, taking pills, feeling low about myself. But then I go and have my colonoscopy, and throughout the operation they say, well, they kept remarking how good the prep was, but they also said no inflammation was found. There was scarring from my previous battles with ulcerative colitis. Apparently there was quite a lot of scarring, but apart from that, healthy. I've never had a scope that said I have no inflammation. It's amazing news, and all I can put it down to is faith in the basics, faith in taking the medications, faith in going to sleep and getting enough sleep, faith in eating foods that are going to fuel you, and movement and exercise. I think it just comes down to all of those fundamentals. And it's just the fact that I've been doing them consistently over time. And I think there is no magic pill when it comes to IBD. It just comes down to, are you looking after yourself? And the thing is, these things can happen even when you don't look after yourself. But the best thing that you can do is just try and be your best self. Look at your ways in which you're not treating yourself in the best way. Are you eating foods that cause inflammation? Are you treating your sleep with the utmost importance that it truly has? Are you skipping out on those medications? Are you using a medication that isn't working for you? These are all questions that you should be asking yourself, because at the end of the day, all we can do is act in our best interests, and I think that's just the key to it all. Like I said, IBD can strike at any time. It can strike even when you are trying your best, but you can still strive to do better. And I know that it is a terrible pain. It's terrible living with IBD or any chronic disease. But there are actions you can take towards being better. So I will quickly go through how I have achieved an inflammation-free colonoscopy. And just before we go further, I want to touch wood, because I don't want to jinx it. I'm not superstitious, but I don't want to jinx it. I think I say that a lot in these videos, don't I? So the first thing that I do is I take my medications every day. Where is it? My medication's right here. It's got my azathioprine, however you want to say it. I don't miss a day. I go and get my IVs, no matter how kind of annoyed I am at having to go to the hospital every 8 weeks. I do it. It's had a great benefit on my life. It gives me the quality of life that I feel like I'm a normal person when I'm on it. So I take it. The next thing is I religiously go to bed at the same time every day. Whether I fall asleep or not, that's a different matter. But I go to bed at the same time every day, and I wake up at the same time every day. And, a lot of the time I get less sleep than I should. But sticking to that, treating it as my religion, basically. I go to bed at the same time. I'm very strict. That has helped tremendously. My sleep, it's never been better. My sleep's been so bad for most of my life. But since treating it as a religion, as my reason, my purpose is to get good sleep, I don't function without the sleep. I actually function so much better. And it's just sticking to that routine, making sure that you do it every day. It becomes a habit. It just becomes who you are. I do this at this time. And it does mean sacrifice. And I think that's the next thing is sacrifice. You do have to sacrifice things. I sacrifice eating chocolates and desserts and sweets. I just threw it out the window. I said, my greater purpose is to be better, is to be healthy and to feel good. And when you have that greater purpose, it's so much easier to give up these things. I don't have the want to eat it because I know how I feel when I do. I know how it feels to be in this high inflammation state. I know what it feels like to flare. So I chuck them out the window. And it is that greater purpose, I don't want to be in that situation. My purpose is to be present, to be healthy, and to be happy. So I don't eat those things. So that leads into, obviously, the diet. I treat my diet with its, the utmost importance in my life, along with the sleep. I make sure I eat on time. I kind of have a rigorous schedule. I eat the same time every day in the same way that I sleep at the same time. And like I said, it kind of ties back into that sacrifice. I sacrifice the flexibility in knowing that I'm feeding myself with the right foods. And that makes making the right decisions so much easier, because I'm no longer making it a decision. I just do it. I know that I'm going to have some sort of lean meat soon. It's coming up to, it's 5 to 8 in the morning. I've already had my breakfast, which is kefir, blueberries. If you want me to talk about diet, I could do another video on diet. Leave a comment down below if you'd like me to talk about diet further. But I know exactly what I'm going to eat and when I'm going to eat it. And I know my next meal is going to be lean protein, some vegetables, some, cottage cheese, whatever it is. I know food's very individual. My foods aren't going to work for you. They work for me. Clearly they do, because I've got inflammation free. It's so good. First time in 11 years, by the way, I've ever been told that. 11 years. 11 years of IBD. It's crazy. Don't reflect. Here's another thing. Don't reflect on your poor decisions of the past. There's so many times when I can think about all of the poor health choices I made and how that could have led to me having inflammatory bowel disease. Yes, there may have been a chance I would have got it regardless of those decisions, but there's definitely decisions I have made in the past that have taken me down this path and made me more likely. Maybe they unlocked the key of IBD. Maybe it was a locked door, and the diet choices I used to make, they might have been the key that opened that door and made it happen. But you can't dwell on those choices. You can only think about what you're doing here and now, and what you're going to do tomorrow, and what you're going to do later today. That's why I'm saying focus on being the best version of you. Doesn't matter what you've done, it matters what you're going to do. And movement. In the same way as everything else, I know I'm going to be doing movement in the day, whether that's walking, whether that's lifting. It sounds cliche, but treat your body as a temple. And maybe don't desecrate it. Don't desecrate that temple. It's very important how you treat your body and your mind. And a lot of the time I do lose hope. Just a few weeks ago, I felt close to having a sort of meltdown. I felt close to wanting to give up because, I was just sick every 8 weeks, go to the hospital. I was sick of being a patient. I kept writing it down in my notes. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being a patient. But then I had this news. There's no inflammation in my gut. And it kind of confirms that everything I'm doing is right. Everything that I'm doing is helping me. And it all just goes back to that sacrifice. Sacrificing the ways of life that could put me in that poor health state. That's the main thing. It is sacrifice. And it is tough. But when you've got that greater purpose, when you've got that alignment, you don't want to be flaring anymore. It puts everything into perspective. So I just wanted to make this video to kind of celebrate the fact I'm inflammation free and to share some of my advice as someone who's had IBD for 11 years. It can be done. It can be done. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.